what are the hotspots for 2022? Given we've seen a massive rise in nearly major capital cities and regional areas, plus 20% in some areas, when the normalized average capital growth over the last 25 years is about 6.5%. Well, I feel, in my opinion, if you're an investor, Sydney is probably not the way to go. I feel Sydney is, as you've seen in the last month and in the month before, that we're seeing a downward year-on-year, month-on-month change in property values, and I think we're going to see less demand in Sydney properties, and so right now is possibly not the time to be buying a property in Sydney. Maybe in the near future, but of course if you watch my other video, you need to be considering about the other factors, whether you can get a loan even if it's in the near future, and you've got to weigh those options, or I'm happy to chat to you one-on-one about which way might be the way to go. Brisbane, on the other hand, has still performed, but that will eventually also slow down. But the good thing about Brisbane is more and more workers, part of the COVID remote working boom, continue to move to Brisbane or Queensland from other states and enjoy bigger backyards, sunnier weather, where remote working is possible. So I think the Brisbane market still has room to grow, which leads me to my other point about regional places and regional Queensland, be it this is outside, say, 50-60 kilometers of Queensland, Brisbane, and even going north to Townsville, Hervey Bay, Rockhampton, etc., close to the water, bigger backyards, much cheaper land prices, 500 square meters, probably about 180,000 on average, depending on the area you buy. And why not? I've got a lot of clients and people that I know that have made that move to moving to regional Queensland. So then you've got Adelaide and WA or Perth left. I guess with Adelaide, it's a good thing. It's more about once again migrants. Similar thing happened to Hobart, where international school students and skilled workers had to come in, and part of their permanent residency visas, they had to stay in regional areas, be in South Australia or within Tasmania, etc., to get their permanent residency into Australia. And in the end, they end up settling in those areas and became home buyers and so on. So we've seen the Adelaide market move on. However, my personal hotspot that I'm looking at, myself along with my clients, is within the Perth and WA area. As much as Perth has remained flat for the last 10 years from the mining boom, I'm sure you've seen, it's a city or country of its own that had its borders locked up from the rest of Australia because of the resources they have that they can self-sustain themselves also from mining, etc. So you've got Sydney, which I feel is on a downward, and then I think it's probably going to plateau. We've got the elections coming up next month, depending on who wins and what the sentiment's going to be. That might fast track any downward movement to Sydney. And then we come to the next major city, because it's usually Sydney that starts, and then we've got Melbourne. Melbourne, I feel, also is slowing down, and we're going to probably have a plateau. The only positive thing, I guess, with Melbourne is it is an international city and it attracts a lot of international migrants, but that reputation also got a bit tarnished in the way that Melbourne was probably one of the cities that had the longest lockdowns in the world. So do overseas students, skilled workers attracted to Melbourne? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell, but I think Melbourne's also on its plateau.